Rain or shine, it's all about mud. I'm here in the California town of Calistoga to talk about this special mud, and not the kind that you made patty cakes from as a kid. This mud is special because it combines the thermal waters with volcanic rock to make mud that makes you look and feel amazing, but also helps to make this wine so divine. 100 Days Drinks, Dishes, and Destinations is brought to you by...
With AMA Waterways, guests can climb, pedal, and journey beyond the beaten path while cruising on storied rivers across Europe. You can find out more at amawaterways.com.
When I picture my dad, Josh, I remember his hands. Strong, they were worn, stained. That was years of hard work as a lumberjack. His commitment, work ethic, values, that's what really inspired me to create Josh Cellars.
Otherworldly and down to earth. Visit Napa Valley.
Come with me to stamp your passport to delicious. I'm drinks and culinary expert Leslie Sbrocco, and I'm traveling, tasting, sipping, and savoring the world to share my bucket list of palate-pleasing experiences.
Cheers.
On 100 Days, Drinks, Dishes, and Destinations. Calistoga is at the northern end of the Napa Valley in California. The hot springs, the natural beauty, and the mountains drew Sam Brannan to this place back in 1885. He came all the way from Saratoga in New York and purchased 2,000 acres to develop his own special West Coast spa for California's rich and famous. And the railroad made it easy to get here. He liked his tipple, and in a tipsy moment, instead of saying it was the Saratoga of California, he said it was the Calistoga of Saratoga. And it has been Calistoga ever since. But Calistoga's history goes way back further than Sam Brannan. I mean, these geysers have been here for millennia.
This whole area is a volcanic region. We're so blessed in Calistoga because we're one of the few areas within Napa Valley that's 100% volcanic. You see this?
Oh, there you go. Oh, good. Look at this. And this is Old Faithful, right?
This is Old
Faithful. This is only one of 3 named Old Faithful geyser. And we've got one right here going off. Normally it erupts every 40 to 50 minutes, but because we've had so much rain in California recently, it's erupting every 5 to 10.
And helping us make mud. That's what makes really my job easier to make special wine from volcanic soils.
Because you have such a unique soil type.
It's unbelievable. Geology, Mother Nature has been good to us.
Not far from Old Faithful, at Tom's Vineyard, we find more evidence of what makes this special place so special. Now we're here at rocks.
We are here at rocks.
It's volcanic rock.
And this is one of my special rocks because this is volcanic and it's bedrock. It's actually bedrock. Here's 3 volcanic rocks, Leslie.
And they look very different.
They look different.
Right.
Feel how heavy that one is.
That one's heavy.
That one's heavy. That's called andesite.
Okay.
Feel how light this one is. That's called rhyolite.
Like a sponge.
That's from the ash from the volcano that dropped down. And then this rock is a kind of a blend in time between these two.
And this looks like it has sort of iron oxide in it.
It does. This kind of an orange color. Right. That's what that is. All volcanics have some iron in them.
And you see here, and now we're talking mud.
That's volcanic mud.
We're up here at 1,000 feet elevation.
Yes.
So we're up in the volcanic.
We're way up.
And all of this is important because it creates that.
This is all volcanic soil, which is perfect for Cabernet Sauvignon. Why? Because the volcanics give us the minerals. They give us the ability for the water to percolate.
And drain through. Cabernet likes its roots dry, right? So you like to have percolation through.
It's a perfect combination.
Another day at the office.
Now I want to see if you can taste the mud.
Too mud.
Too mud. Well, cheers.
Cheers to divine wine from good mud. Leaving Tom's Hillside Vineyard, I traveled down to the valley floor to see one of the area's landmark vineyards where the geological richness of Calistoga is on full display.
All the Napa Valley runs on the 3 soil types, the alluvial, the fluvial, which is also known as sedimentary, and the volcanic, but it's like so dramatic here in Calistoga because it's only a mile apart.
Right.
But the heart of the Montelena is the alluvial. Yeah, so of the 100 acres we're farming here, 65 are on the alluvial. On the volcanic, you get really strong, almost over-concentrated cedar tone of Cabernet. We're on the alluvial, the vines are more elegant, so they're, you know, too strong on the mountains and, you know, too soft out of the sedimentary, but in the alluvial, it's like the Goldilocks of the tree, but it's just right.
Just right. So, Cabernet Sauvignon, how old are these?
These are 5.
5 years old.
This is our youngest established vineyard out here right now. These are 5 years old, so they're just coming into production now. And so, but then we move into these 1974 vines, because when we got here in 72, we had to replant everything. They're still producing. They produce about 1.5 tons per acre, so not very many grapes come out of there. This cane is from last year, so this is 1-year-old wood. And how Cabernet works is that the basal buds are really not that fruitful, but most of the fruit will be on the cane in this zone right here. So the bottom two are called basals. And you can just see the white? Mm-hmm. They're gonna push in about a week.
That's gonna be baby grapes.
That's gonna be the buds. These are 2008s. So
about 10
they're
years.
11 years old.
11
Yeah,
years
10,
old.
11 years old. On a flat vineyard like this, it's usually like topsoil, but you can see this is basically rocks.
Right,
that
there
are
are
at
rocks
the
all throughout
surface.
this.
And so when we cultivate, all these rocks come out, but you can see they're alluvium because the edges are washed. So the difference between a rock and a cobble is this has been rolled by a river and dumped here. So as the river's moving down, this one was broken, but you can still, it's a little worn. Where in the volcanic soils, they'll have all the sharp edges.
Right.
And so because they will not have been moved by water. The Napa Valley is formed by the Vaca Range on the east and the Mayacamas on the west. They both terminate at Mount St. Helena. And Mount St. Helena is the headwaters of the Napa River. So the Napa River comes from right here on our property, the 26 miles it dumps into the San Francisco Bay. Basically, from this one spot, you can see all the key features of the Calistoga AVA. It's all right here. It's right in front of you. That's how tiny the little place is, and it's so amazing. Calistoga is one of the oldest appellations in Napa Valley. Alfred Tubbs came up here in 1882 and started planting the vineyard.
And we're on Tubbs Lane.
We're on Tubbs Lane. So Tubbs was a tycoon. He had his ships and his whaling fleet and all that stuff, so he took one of his ships to France and he got these drawings. We don't know who the architect was when the mist.
But it was inspired by a French chateau.
Very much so. The chateau was finished in 1886, and it's facing north, and it's cut into the hill, so it's basically a man-made cave. You can see how thick the stone is to insulate it in the summer and in the winter.
You know, Prohibition did take the wine industry and stopped it, and basically, you know, took 100 years to recover.
Right. And when we got them, they were called ghost wineries at that time. So when we got it, you know, the roof had collapsed in 2 sections. It had a dirt floor. All we really had was a stone castle and 100 acres of dirt, and we had to start all over. And so to pay for that, we started making white wine because we were going to make Cabernet. So to do that, so Riesling's a 1-year wine. You can crush it in September, start selling it by the next March. So we made Riesling. Our 2-year wine was Chardonnay, and that's the one that won the Paris tasting. So our second Chardonnay wins the Paris tasting. The 73, this is the one that won the Paris tasting.
The famous one that bested the French and put California wine on the map.
Yeah, that's
right
it.
Here.
And we're down to 11 bottles now.
Oh, good. Well, now you're down to 10.
But the last one we drank was for a charity, the Napa Valley Wine Auction. They came here and we drank one, and it was one of the good ones because I was going to drink it. So, and it was still really, it was excellent. Yeah, it was really quite good. But it does like the same thing as Old Burgundy. Chardonnay, Old Chardonnay is Old Chardonnay. You call it Old Burgundy or Old Chardonnay. If they're made properly, they age beautifully. But yeah, we have every Chardonnay we've ever made for the last 45 years in here.
I think we need to go taste some Chardonnay.
All right, let's go.
This is just an idyllic spot, Bo. I mean, what better way to take in Chateau Montelena than
It's kind
here?
of funny because we have the chateau and then we have our Chinese gardens, and it's part of the history of the place because when it was abandoned after Prohibition, a Chinese guy bought the place, just the 16 acres of the winery and the castle. His family had fled the Japanese invasion of Manchuria, so he longed for his ancestral homeland, so he built Jade Lake.
What do we have in the glass?
We have our Chardonnay. We only really make one Chardonnay. It's very traditional. It's basically made on a white Burgundy style. What we specialize at Montelena is flavors from the vineyard. Chardonnay is like painting watercolor, and the white's really important. So you have to leave the purity of the white. So every time the artist touches his watercolor or her watercolor, you lose some of the white. And so ours are kind of minimalist when they're young, and then as they develop over time, they start to take on more tonalities. In the Calistoga AVA, it's basically too hot during the day and then too cold at night, because the white wines can be too strong.
Right.
So our Chardonnay is from the southern Napa Valley in the Oak Knoll district on the west side, so it's on Orchard Avenue. So this is actually not a Calistoga production. Yeah, but so
But made with the classic Calistoga
in Napa
producer.
Valley, actually, it's rare to find any white grapes other than soft block.
Right, because it's hot. It can be hot up there.
Yeah, it's just the peaky daytime temperatures, and the Chardonnay gets quite strong.
So this Chardonnay, to me, it has such a deft touch, you know, it is that balance, and there's nothing that's out of place in this Chardonnay. Kudos to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
But Calistoga isn't just anchored in the past. Chic modern wineries like Gerard are adding new chapters to this storied wine and food lovers' paradise with classic tastes and adventurous wine pairings that feed all the senses.
I personally come from a restaurant background, and so when I'm making wine, I am always thinking about it being on the dinner table with food.
And we're starting off with a sparkling.
It's poured here to begin our food pairings. Cheers.
Cheers!
Russian River Chardonnay. We have the opportunity to pair it with some food that we think is a nice suggestion. It doesn't mean it's the rule,
Right.
but it's a suggestion that perhaps this wine will make this food taste even better, or vice versa.
Vice
the
versa.
food adds to the wine.
1 and 1, equals 3. Food and wine in general is to create an experience, isn't it? And that's what you're trying to do here.
We're very proud to be a part of that new focus on bringing people to this very special part of Napa Valley.
And a little part of Napa Valley,
a
when
tiny
you look
little-
around,
tiny
a
little
tiny
town.
little town. Small town Calistoga is, well, really small. But it's the heart of the town main street that serves up a robust array of places to shop, eat, and drink. And, of course, places to rest up and get ready for more. In the middle of it all, an historic hotel provides a great place for a good night's sleep and also an opportunity to do good. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Leslie.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Tell me a little bit about the origin of the hotel.
The builder of the hotel, Johnny Gustavo, built it in 1919, 100 years ago, and they owned it for 50 years. 1919 was the dawning of Art Deco. And so the hotel structure is mission reliable, but it has all this Art Deco influence.
So this is of the era.
This is of the era.
How long have you owned the hotel?
30 years, we're actually kind of continuing the legacy.
The Indie Blue Salon.
We finished this about 9 months ago.
Because this was the dining room before.
Yes.
I ate in here before
Yes,
when it was a
private
dining room.
and we converted it to a wine bar and in the morning a coffee bar. And these are all original Art Deco fixtures. 1920 French bar. These are
Really
1920,
spectacular.
and you can see even in the detail on the legs is that look of Art Deco. The last thing you do when you check in is you come and have a glass of wine.
Being family owned and this being a small community, you also give back to the community. What's the program called?
It's called Change the World While You Sleep.
So if you stay in a particular room, you know that half of what you've spent on that room is going to the charity indicated.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, change the world while you sleep.
Yes, we will.
It's easy to fall in love with the beauty and peacefulness of Calistoga. I want to take it back home with me. Well, maybe not all of it. But at Calistoga Pottery, I find unique keepsakes formed from the very essence of the surrounding vineyards. Hello, Sally.
Hello, welcome.
What a beautiful place.
Thank you. Actually, it's a wonderful moment to come. We unloaded a kiln yesterday. All of these plates are brand new. The animal mugs, most of them are new.
What is your inspiration? Are you inspired when you put the glaze on? How do you decide to do something like that?
I like things that are a little bit quirky. I love things that define the way the pot was thrown, that like these fish going around in circles endlessly. That's all about the fact that the pot was thrown on a wheel.
Jeff.
Hey, hi, you got here.
Yes.
Good
What are
to
you
see
making?
This is a rather large dump bucket or spittoon. I made these late yesterday. This is the small one.
Oh,
okay?
These are the individual ones.
These are the individual ones. And then each piece gets trimmed, which helps refine the shape.
And you've been doing this 40 years or so?
We've been here almost 40 years. This is called greenware. This has not been cooked at all.
Right.
Gets cooked in here. This is the electric kiln. At this stage, now you can handle them very easily.
And they won't chip or?
No, this is called bisque. This type of clay we use is called stoneware. Stoneware can't really be thrown any thinner than this. The pots that come out of the bisque kiln, this is an example. These have all been fired once. You notice we use 2 different colors of clay, brown and white. After Sally glazes pieces, the glazed pieces come back here. This is one that actually our younger daughter decorated.
Oh, look at
It
that.
will be a big
Rooster.
rooster.
So this is a piece of bisqueware ready to be glazed.
From the kiln over there.
From the kiln over there. This one is ready to dip into a second glaze, having been stamped with a sea sponge to make this sort of pattern. This is another kind of thing I do a lot of. This is a baby plate, and I'm going to dip it in this clear glaze, and it's going to disappear. So here we go. Goodbye, little horse. Pony, actually. There. Let it drip dry, and
voila, it's gone.
So scary.
But then when you put it in the kiln, it obviously comes back.
It burns through. From the beginning, people have asked us to put grapes on our pots because it's wine country.
Right.
And I had to say, not doing that here at Calistoga Pottery. So what we did was come up with a grapevine ash glaze, which incorporates local material, which is renewable every winter. Jeff gathers the ash, and then he has to leach the lye out of it, soaks it for months. It's a very long process, but so much better than drawing grapes.
So explain how you get this gorgeous color.
That comes from the earth. That we don't add any colorant at all to the glazes.
This is just the ash from the vineyard.
No, it's ash, feldspar, water, and clay. And this one has a little bit of iron oxide decoration.
And each piece is unique.
Each piece is unique. They're just fun. Sometimes they're pieces of art, and sometimes they're just pots. It's a reflection of what's in the soil. Nothing to do with the variety of grape. It's my little way of expressing terroir.
The terroir.
Exactly.
The sense of place.
That's
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely.
It's been a full day of amazing experiences, and now I'm very ready to relax and to get dirty. In the mud, that is. Mud. This is what it's like to be a grown-up and play in the mud. I'm here at Roman Spa in Calistoga in a signature mud bath, which is 6 bales of peat moss and 6 buckets of pure Calistoga volcanic ash mixed with a little aromatic mineral water from Calistoga. It makes you feel great. Detox everything in your body. It's like a mud pillow. Oh, I'm relaxed now. Nothing like the hard work of sitting in mud to make a girl hungry. So I follow my nose and my tummy toward the intoxicating savory smoke billowing from Roadhouse 29. Burning oak and wine barrel staves help to create the layered flavors of short rib steaks and beef brisket. But that's not the only tasty offering at this carnivorous and cavernous dining room that was once a wine cellar. There's the can't miss fried chicken and, believe it or not, a salad. Oh, but no, it's not just any salad.
Kale salad's up. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are
Good to
you?
see you. I'm great, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Are we making kale salad?
We just made a kale salad. You want us to make another one
Yeah,
with you?
I do.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Has this been an item that has sort of come with you through iterations, or is this a new dish for you?
Yeah, no, actually, this was one of the 2 items that we actually had on the previous restaurant, 2 birds, 1 stone, that carried over to this menu as well. I'm going to show you both of them, the fried chicken and the kale salads. People just said you can't get rid of them, and it just works in this concept as well.
Right, and how did this concept come about?
So we previously had 2 birds, 1 stone, and we realized that the building itself, which was really the impetus for the entire restaurant, it needed a high energy, high volume, it needs to be filled. So we decided to kind of turn this a little bit more approachable so we could have more people, and also kind of the staffing of the area and the whole crisis of staffing also kind of influenced the decision so that the food is less complicated to plate and to prep, but just as easy to execute perfectly.
Well, and being a 2 Michelin-starred chef,
a little while ago.
A little while ago with Cyrus, but that was a groundbreaking restaurant as well. I mean, Cyrus, pretty amazing. And you wanted to get away, though, from this idea of chef-driven restaurant, right?
I'm kind of sick of chef-driven restaurants right now. I think for me, I actually kind of lost my soul a little bit. You start chasing the stars or start worrying about losing the stars. And so this was really refreshing to kind of come back to this and say, we're just cooking for everybody.
And you care about your people. You care about your staff. And we've been talking about trends in the restaurant business, and you certainly are implementing a few of those.
We actually needed to make sure that they started off at a living wage above 25 bucks an hour. We got rid of tipping so that we could figure out how to work that for the guests, but also for ourselves. And it's been amazing. And we're actually cutting them into a profit level once we reach a certain point of business so that we can work as efficiently.
They have an incentive to stay and build a business. When you talk to restaurants around the country, not only in the Bay Area, but around the country, things have to change.
I think you're going to see less staff, more modified menus. You still need to give hospitality, but you have to get rid of certain things. And so you have to figure out where to make those cuts.
And you have to make delicious food, so let's get going on this kale salad.
So we've got the shredded red cabbage and then the kale. And then we have a fermented black garlic vinaigrette, a little bit of oil, soy sauce, and we take a little bit of fresh lemon juice in there.
To give it that nice kick of acid.
Exactly, to punch it up. A little bit of salt. We take some sesame seeds. A little bit of puffed rice. So we've taken some black forbidden rice.
That's what gave it a nice crunch.
And just some fresh scallions to garnish it. And that's it.
Now this is the way to eat kale. It's still healthy, but it has enough decadence layered in there that you're ready to dig in and enjoy.
Absolutely, or just deep fry it.
Or deep fry it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Right, huh?
Now, fried chicken.
We spent a lot of time perfecting a recipe, and so we brine the chicken, Sonoma chickens, in kimchi for 48 hours. Then we pull it out, we dredge it in a flour that we made specifically for this restaurant. It's got a couple different starches and flours to it. Then we cook it in a pressure fryer. We have the entire chicken here broken up. The wings have been cooked separately, the legs, the breast, and the thighs. We cut them into smaller pieces. These stay in whole pieces. And then we're gonna fry them for 2.5 minutes, and they're gonna come out gorgeous. And so what we serve it for, this is our sauce that I was telling you about. It's taken a kimchi base, a little bit of sesame, there's some gochujang, which is a Korean fermented chili paste, a little bit of brown sugar, and some acid as well. We've pureed this and cooked it. It's addicting. So we're done at 2.5 minutes. It's crispy, juicy on the inside. We're gonna toss it into the sauce. Kind of hear it sizzling.
Smell, I'm telling you, the smell is fantastic.
And you just have to be a little careful so you don't get it all over you. Get it nice and covered. We're just gonna put it right into the basket with the kimchis and the pickles. So this is your whole Sonoma County 48-hour kimchi brine chicken with Korean buffalo sauce, house-made kimchi, and Sonoma County brinery pickles. Hot and juicy and crispy. Right on.
Beyond chicken ribs and a whole slew of sides that are worth sinking your teeth into, the North Coast focused wine list includes many served on tap. And then there are the cocktails.
Started with our decanting of our bourbon. So we actually have a big batch of bourbon that we take in here, we macerate it with some citrus and some vanilla beans. You can pour it and drink it straight. It's absolutely delicious. Absolutely, let's do it. So it macerates for a couple weeks in there at the minimum. And it's super smooth, and it's a really fun way to drink it. And we use it as a base for our Manhattan, which is on tap.
You know, I'm a little behind my ears like this.
What I was telling you about is the staffing as well. So we're trying to make everything efficient. So one of the things was let's put some of our most popular cocktails on tap so anyone can actually come back here and pour it. We've got a Manhattan, we've got a Paloma.
I love Paloma.
Exactly. You want to start? Which one do you want to start with?
Absolutely. Well, let's start with little tequila.
Little tequila.
Okay.
That's it. It's carbonated. It's ready to go.
Oh, this looks refreshing. That's so good.
It tastes good just like that. Cheers.
From thermal springs to volcanic rock to mud baths, from local design to Art Deco to art in a glass. I've really explored the rugged richness of Calistoga, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate the past and to toast the future than with a classic drink or four. Cheers. 100 Days Drinks, Dishes, and Destinations is brought to you by...
With AMA Waterways, guests can climb, pedal, and journey beyond the beaten path while cruising on storied rivers across Europe. You can find out more at amawaterways.com.
When I picture my dad, Josh, I remember his hands. Strong, they were worn, stained. That was years of hard work as a lumberjack. His commitment, work ethic, values, that's what really inspired me to create Josh Cellars.
Otherworldly and down to earth. Visit Napa Valley.
For more information on all episodes, along with our expanded digital series, including behind-the-scenes footage and stories, and links to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, go to 100daysdrinksdishesdestinations.com. Rain or shine, it's all about mud.
Actually, you being there looks Jean Harlow. You have a little Jean Harlow look to you, Leslie.
What I am. That's why you're so good at it.
Both sides. I got both sides here. You're always going to know my glass.
And don't look at the camera right at the end.
Yeah, sorry.
I look at the camera just because that's what I do. You're not allowed.